Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of ACS Golf. Now, today we're going to be looking at this, the Cobra LTDx. Now, the reason we're looking at this is because I think at the moment, and I'll explain later in the video, it's the right time to be picking up this club, either brand new or second hand. Now, obviously we know this is a 2022 club. They've released some new versions this year. We have the Aerojet that Cobra's released, where they've actually made quite a few changes. So they've got rid of the hop face, the CNC milled face, sorry, and they've also basically put in a sort of a track along the bottom, a bit like Callaway, where they had the jailbreak system. They've got the same system, but it actually goes from across the bottom of the face. The idea, lower shots on the face, more forgiveness. Now, some of the new clubs this year are fantastic. I mean, you've got the Paradigm, you've got the Stealth 2, which is a lot more forgiving than the Stealth, supposedly. But in the end of the day, there's only so much that these big brands can do with these clubs, because they all have to conform, obviously, to the governing body of golf's regulations. So the max size they can be is that 460cc head. You know, the face has to be a certain thickness, and etc., and it goes on. So the step up in performance each year, even though you can watch some videos where they say it's the best thing since sliced spread, but then you can watch other ones and they go, hold on, there's not really much changed here. So I really do think that rather than going out and spending a shed load of money, you should be looking at, in the second-hand market for 2022, or even brand new 2022, and trying them. I mean, I saw a video of this against the Aerojet video, and I think there was 1 yard, 2 yard in it, if that. I mean, there you go. It says everything. Now, as always with these videos, we will discuss the club, then I will take it down to the driving range, show you some figures, and then I'll discuss in more detail why I think you should be looking to pick this up at this year, and more importantly for me, will it be making it into my bag? Now, first things first, let's have a closer look at that club. So there you go, it's a good looking club. Now, going into the technology side of it, I have Cobra's website opened up here, just on my right. So I will start telling you all the amazing things that this club can do. As always, I do love reading these things. If you're ever going to pick up a new club, do have a look at their website, because Cobra are all PXG or Ping or Callaway, because they always promise the world, and it's fantastic reading. So we have the PWR-COR, so technology, power core, you'd assume, which is right here at the front there, if I show you. And basically this power core technology is a multi-material weighting system positioned as much weight as possible low and forward. 19 grams total, and a 14-gram machine steel interior weight and a 5-gram exterior aluminium weight is positioned right behind the hitting zone to transfer maximum speed to the ball at impact with reduced spin. The addition of a 15-gram weight at the back perfectly balances low spin with high launch and extreme forgiveness for longer distance. If you're ever looking at driver videos, a lot of the time it is, they push the weight at the back and also at the front, because the front, low spin, at the back, more forgiveness. Now, then we go on to CNC milled infinity face, which is here, which is on a lot of the Cobra drivers up to this point. And now, obviously, like I've said, they've actually reduced it this year because they say they don't need it. But discussing this is an update CNC infinity face design, wraps around the leading edge to increase the zone of maximum ball speed while providing a traditional top line for improved visual alignment. So traditional top line there. Now, we have a multi-material construct using a lightweight carbon crown, which we have on the face. There you go. And a sole plate, again, carbon crown on the bottom here, all the way around here actually. It's not joint like the Paradigm is, but it's on the bottom and on the top. And a strong titanium chassis, which is around. The new chassis designs an 8.3 gram lighter and allows for up to 30% more carbon fibre to be used. A lighter chassis is critical to freeing up more weight that could be positioned low and forward in the power core to increase the ball speed. And this is a theme across many drivers, the idea that obviously you use the carbon to be able to move the weight around to basically make the club more forgiveness, more low spin, etc. Now we have the H.O.T face technology, so hot face. Now the hot face is still in at the moment, but like I said, it's just the milled side of the face that they're not using. Using machine learning and CNC matching, we've created a new variable thickness design that is precision tuned for speed. HOT stands for highly optimized topology. Using data from thousands of impact simulators, we've optimized thickness in multiple zones to maximize ball speed across a larger area of the face. These zones create visual peaks and valleys that resemble a topography map, which is how the design got its name. Which can't say that word more than 10 times in a row. Bloody ridiculous. Anyway, now we go on to the fixed back weighting, as I mentioned. So we have 15 gram combined back weighting, so 10 gram fixed, which you can see just here, and then 5 gram tungsten weight, which you could change if you wanted to. Increase stability and promotes a higher ball flight with maximum carrying distance. So there you go. You know, one of the main things that they sort of discuss here is obviously ball flight for maximum carry, maximum distance, and obviously forgiveness. Now, one thing I will say that really sort of leads this Cobra built into that is also actually their shaft options. So a lot of their shaft options are actually very high flight. So I have the stiff behind me, if I just grab it now. So I have their stiff shaft, which is the Helium 5F4. Now, this is actually a very whippy shaft. If I had a head in there, it's very whippy, and the idea of that is to help launch. They also do the clubs, I can see them now, where you normally have a very low spinning model, and basically all their shafts now are actually medium spin. So with the idea to help increase that launch, so they've got some really good options out there, really for shafts, not low spinning, but actually to help increase the launch. With the idea that you'll get the low spinningness off the face, and the shaft will help you get that ball in the air, which is a really nice combination. Actually, normally when you see low spinning clubs or they're trying to decrease the spin, then it's always a very low spinning shaft as well, which personally doesn't really work. I like a bit more flexibility, especially at the tip of the shaft, to really help get that ball up in the air. Now, with any clubs, the majority of clubs now out there, obviously you do have the adjustability. There you go. I mean, this can be adjusted. It's 10.5 degree head. It can be adjusted from 9 degrees all the way up to 12 degrees, and also you can be adjusted for draw bias. So it closes the face. If you've got a bit of a slice, you can change that setting on the shaft, and that can help. Now, there you go. That's all the information. Now, I will be comparing it to my current driver in the bag, which is the 0311 Gen 5 PXG club, which I do love the look of and the feel, to be fair. So I'll compare that as well. So that's gone down with the driving range with me as well for some of the figures. So let's get down there. But before we do, just want to say, obviously, thank you very much for everyone who supports these videos, etc. But out of 650 hours watched, only 3% of that is from the subscribers. So if you enjoy these videos, please do subscribe. We've got some great reviews coming up of some really old sort of clubs. I've got a few Nikes back there behind me, which we're going to be testing to see how they do with modern, compared to modern drivers nowadays, for example. So remember to hit that subscribe button. It'd mean a lot. Now, let's get down to Sandown when I was at the driving range this week, and also just show you a little highlight of me taking this out for the first time on the golf course at Hersham. So before we get down to Sandown, this is the first time I took this club out on the course at Hersham, and first time I've actually ever used it. Now, yes, that was a low bullet, but it hit the fairway, and I hit another 6 fairways after this. This shot here was the best I've ever hit on the par 5, where you sort of want to cut the corner a bit, to go straight down and then goes to the left and left me a shot into the green on the par 5. And this one again, you sort of have to go over the corner there. Now you do possibly hear me shout 4 right here, but it did actually stay on the fairway, actually cut the corner and went even further than I was expecting. It was a fantastic shot. Now down at Sandown, PXG, let's jump straight into the numbers. There we go. So on average, we had a total flat carry of 198 yards. Total distance on average was 247. Ball speed 144 miles an hour. Launch angle 11 degrees. Height 46 feet. Now, for me, total distance, I'm normally around that 250 mark. Ball speed around maybe 145 up to 150 on average. So pretty much there. I mean, I did hit one right at the end, which brought that averages down. I mean, the total distance was only 227 and the ball speed was 132 miles per hour. If I get rid of that one, then we got flat carry 202, total distance 251 and ball speed of 146. You know, I had 3 shots over 260. So it's a great club, but it's not the most forgiving option for the PXG. The most forgiving one is the XF. But generally on the day, haven't used this club for a while. The shaft's a bit more heavier than the Cobra that I've obviously been testing. So I was generally really happy with the performance. And I feel like if I kept going with it, I probably could have, you know, edged out a bit more, maybe a few more yards, maybe got up to maybe total distance of 270. But like I said, on average, really what I want is that 250, because for me, it keeps it on the course rather than going crazy and losing it in the bush. Now, Cobra, onto the Cobra. So, flat carry was on average 218 yards. Total distance on average was 261 yards. Ball speed on average 146 miles per hour. Launch angle 11 and height on average was 61. Straight away, that just says everything, really. I mean, the ball speed was right in the average. The total distance was 10 yards on average over the PXG if you take out that poor shot. And it was just really impressed with it, to be honest. I mean, the longest one, here we go, wait for this. Flat carry, 260 yards. Total distance, 298. Ball speed, 155 miles per hour. And the total height, 93 yards. I mean, that thing was mammoth for me. I mean, I have hit a couple around the 300-yard mark on courses and everything like that every now and again. But really, I tend not to go for it that much because I do lose control. And I have to admit, I'm pretty sure that one was a little bit to the right. But hey, I mean, on the range, when you really want to go for it, it's a lot of fun. And that was great. Now, even that though, you know, I had 4 shots over the 270 total distance. I mean, ball speed, I had 4 shots over 151 miles per hour ball speed. I mean, the club was fantastic. The smallest one, so the poorest hit I did, flat carry was 196, total distance 231, but ball speed was still 137. So that's still 5 miles per hour more than the PXG when I hit that poorly. So it really does show that with the Cobra, it's more forgiving across the whole face than the PXG is, which is just a great thing. I mean, obviously, being what I am at the moment, you know, being that sort of 17 handicapper, I'm not going to be hitting the ball in the middle of the face all the time. So I need that forgiveness. And also, I tend to hit very down on the ball. So to get it popping up in the air like that as well, which I think is also down the south, is just fantastic. So there you go. So when it comes down to distance at the moment, it looks like Cobra beat my PXG. Now, what do I say about that? Firstly, I say, don't get me wrong. I only hit 5 shots with the PXG. I did hit more with that. But what was quite apparent is the forgiveness of the club. I'd definitely say the Cobra is more forgiving. As I mentioned before, there is a more forgiving version of this, the XF. So if you want to go down the PXG route, do look out for them. And look out for my review on this, because I still think it's a fantastic club. And you have more adjustability with this movable weights than you do in the Cobra. But going into the Cobra, as I mentioned, you know, ball speed felt hot off the face with their hot face. You know, to get that nearly just under 300 was a fantastic hit when I really went for it. To be averaging, you know, getting a few around that 270 total distance, be averaging around that 260 was fantastic. And even on my bad hit, you know, 137 ball speed, all right, it's dropped down by 9 miles per hour, but compared to the PXG, That's not bad. That still went, even with that, 230 yards. So maybe 20 yards short of what I'd hoped, but I'd still be really happy with that, to be fair, as long as it's on the fairway and it's straight. So, really happy with the numbers from it. Feel wise, I will say the PXG for me feels nicer off the face. Maybe it's that little bit more premium, but I will say, but I will say this is definitely probably the best feeling driver I've ever tried. I've tried Mizuno's, tried TaylorMade, etc. But for me, I just love the feel of this. But this isn't bad feel. Do not get me wrong. It still feels nice off the face, just not as nice as the PXG. Now, dispersion wise, it was fantastic. As I've mentioned before already, like first time I've ever taken out on the golf course. Normally when I take new clubs out on the golf course, it takes me a while to get into them. And this, 7 fairways in a row, and some of them quite narrow as well. So really happy with that performance. So yeah. So if we just quickly go through tick box of everything, I'd say for the club. Distance, yes, one of the longest I've tested. Fantastic. Ball flight, because with the shaft and obviously the aim of it being sort of that medium flight, I was really happy with the ball flight. For someone who struggles to get it in the air, because I tend to hit down more on the ball, this was fantastic. For me, really did improve my carry figures. So really happy with that. Forgiveness, as I've mentioned before, it's great. Really happy across the face, to be honest. I really do find it's very forgiving club. It's not their most forgiving either. They do have the Max, which has a draw bias there, which is their most forgiving. But for me, really happy with it. Looks, I think it looks lovely. I mean, I much prefer, to be fair, these matte crowns and the PXG as well. You have obviously the new clubs you have, and Mizuno's. I've had a few Mizuno's in the bag as well for some times where you have that gloss. Like you do say, the gloss, if you're in the middle of the summer, and it's nice and sunny out there. I remember looking down at my Mizuno when it was nice, nice glossy top, looked beautiful, and I could see the clouds on the top of the golf club. And I was like, this is great. But I'm trying to think about hitting my golf shot here, and all I'm doing is looking at clouds reflection from the sky above. So personally, I much prefer the matte. Maybe not looks, yes, but performance wise, I'm on a golf course, I want a matte top. So I'm really happy with that. So happy with the looks. It's happy pretty much with everything in the club. I just think it's an amazing club. I mean, the review last year for it was fantastic. If you go and watch the professionals review it, and I think it's great. Now, why do I think it's the perfect time to be buying this? And the reason for it is because all the new clubs coming out at the moment, I mean, some of them are, near that £600 retail mark in the UK. Obviously, in America, again, that $600 mark. And you go, well, hold on, that's £600, $600. That's a lot of money to be spending on a driver. You hit this driver on average on a golf course, let's say maybe 10 times, if that, depending on how narrow it is, depending on the course itself. Not a huge amount of times you're actually hitting it. I mean, you hit your irons a lot more. Obviously, your putter you're hitting the most. So when hold on, you can pick a set of irons up for, depending on the brand, for like $600, £600. You're going, well, why am I spending so much on a driver? And this now has dropped down in the UK, brand new. It's dropped down in the UK to £300, so 299. So you can go out and get this, go and get fitted for it, brand new for 299. So you're saving yourself about 150 quid if you're comparing to get the new Cobra. If you want to have a look at the Paradigm, or maybe the new Ping, you're saving yourself, or the TSRs, for example, for Titleist, you're saving yourself nearly £300. And the same in America at the moment. I managed to find out, this is retailing at the moment for $350, well, $349. Again, you're saving yourself maybe $300, $250, where you can put that into maybe a new fairway wood in a bag, or maybe upgrade your putter, etc. And the thing is, this price will just keep on going down as the year goes on as well. Now, in the second-hand market, which I've looked on eBay, for example, over here in the UK, I mean, the Max version of this, the most forgiving one, went for £150 on eBay. The LS, which is their low spinning model, went for £166 on eBay. I picked up this one, which relatively very good condition. I mean, it may have been hit a couple of times on the course, for £186, including delivery. And this is a premium driver, don't forget, a very good driver. And You don't necessarily even need to go for this. If you want to have a look at the F9 or the Rad Speed, for example, again, Cobra's drivers you can pick up cheap, and they do perform, and they are very good. You know, they're long, they're forgiving, they're great clubs, and they think they look nice as well. But obviously, when it comes to other brands, maybe the premium side of them aren't quite there because they try and be in that bracket below. For example, if we take the PXG head cover and the Cobra head cover, I mean, the PXG, this is just premium leather. And this is a bit ropey, does his job, but it's not as premium as the PXG. But then you can always buy yourself your own head cover if that was a major sticking point for you. So that's why I think really with all the prices of new drivers, etc. out there, I think if you're looking for a new driver, even if you're looking on the second-hand market, this club is right up there. And I personally think is one of the best ever been out there, really. It is great. So for me, it's just going to go in my bag. Hell yes. This is straight in the bag. I'm having the best driving performance I've had with it. As much as I love the PXG and I do think it's a great driver, for me, this is just performing better. The total carry is better, and then the accuracy is better, and the forgiveness is better. So there you go. That's my review and look at the Cobra LTDx, and why I think if you're looking for a new driver right now, you need to go and give this bad boy a try because it is immense. Okay, so if you like this video, do give it a like. Do tell me if you do play with Cobra in the bag, and also remember to subscribe to the channel because next week, if I just go and get it, I'm going to be reviewing these old school Nike blades. Believe me, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right then.